Press 1. To record extension name, press 2. To manage greeting, press 3. To hear messages recorded in this extension, press 4.
Okay, it's no longer on mute. If any of you go to a patriarchal medical team, whether it's for Crohn's disease or Alzheimer's or any of these diseases that our family has ever had, including colic, if you go to a patriarchal medical team, they will harm you or potentially kill you. So it's good that you go to someone who is holistic. A woman who has spent her birthday on the Isle of Crete. Martha, okay? Do that. Do that today. Now the world knows I'm saying that to you. Do you want to do harm to yourself for no reason? Just keep doing what you're doing. And you can call me, and you can also give me your exchanges of your information so we have easier access and connection. And do so by also putting the milk under Julianne Marie and Georgine's face. I am broadcasting. People can hear this. So Julianne Marie and Georgine and any other women that Julianne Marie wants to pick, can call me and avert a Fukushima there. Okay? Because they have the love powers to avert a Fukushima. And they are not controlled by old men. And they can do good things for one another. And for you. And for the entire world. And me, too. And that includes me. Let's not say a big deal about me. I'm part of the world, too. Have you noticed that? Because you won't have one much longer if you keep fooling around with me. Guys, God won't like this. So, I love you. And I'm also going to, call the usual suspects of potential for Co-Secretary General Xavier Ahud among the women. And I already have done some of that already. And you can call me 24/7, and I give you huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs.
To save this message, press 1. Your greeting has been saved. To change extension type, press 1. To record extension name, press 2. To manage greeting, press 3. To hear messages recorded in this extension, press 4. To delete this extension, press 8.
I'm broadcasting, and I'm holding up the milk, and I'm holding up the marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers, and the water, and the heart. What am I saying? The heart light. Here it is. The heart light and the marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers. Now, I know that everybody has both Ceres and Persephone in them, and you certainly do. and I certainly do. And we should be working together with Georgina and the other women. So you and she and the other women that you could connect with and help stop being so patriarchal and hiding. Don't cause patriarchy by over-empowering rogue behavior on the part of men. Do you know what I mean by rogue behavior? And it's systemic now too. It's infected the entire society, and it's systemic. So we're going to be putting all that on trial. No one person is to blame, but patriarchy is to blame. And the lack of interest in parity and the lack of gathering of women is very much to blame. It needs to be held accountable. So we're going to do that, but very lovingly. And of course, I say, as Hera Harriet and Ray Rayet, and I'm saying this so people can see I'm talking to you. As Hera Harriet, Ray Rayet, Clara Ra, Risen Rose, Precious Antoinette, and Marie and Grandma Popper and Dorothy, and also I'm going to put it off of I'm putting it off of the I'm putting mute back on. Esther Harriet, Ray Rayette, Clara Ra, Precious Antoinette, Lil Ya with Lillian Gay and Precious Antoinette, Risen Rose, Grandma Margulies, Grandma Popper, Marie, Grandma Popper, and Dorothy. And also, I do say, I've already said, I don't know if you say it, I really should say to you, Vanessa's family has mothers too, and I've given them the name as Mariama, Victoria and Mariama and Libertia and Estrella, and also, and you know, Marion, and we've got Marion here, we've got Barbara, we've got all these women who you really need to connect with and co-lead with. And there's Georgine, who has a lot of good sense on her shoulders and can do a nice job of connecting and reconnecting you with Anna Marie and Ma Patricia. So I'm not giving up on any of you. I refuse to, and I don't care how dark it gets on this planet. I'm not going to give up on any woman that I know. We've had enough of that. But however, women who are playing the game in the wrong direction need clarification on what their behavior is doing and how it's risking a Fukushima there. And also the names of the men of our family are very important. I include, there is one I include for Vanessa's family. And of course, Marion and Hadass have some very nice men on their family too. All of these women do. All of them do. But what's going on with the little branch that you're involved with is sucking your energy in the wrong direction. You're missing all these people. And also, so I say, and I don't think I mentioned, I should have said Lynn, and also Rachel and Carrie, and also Julian, Lewis, Alan, Emma, Oscar, Paul, Joseph, Paul, and the Younger brothers, as well as Joseph and Melton, and Carl. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead. Of course, the kitty has a cat. Say hello. Donia Rurfleece and Mari Rainbow Sweetheart. Mari Rainbow Sweetheart say, and Donia Rurfleece say hi and hugs to Heather and Jan and Heather. Also holy creatures, and so are Whiskers and Holly and Tiger and Holly and Blackie and Buttermilk and Blackie and Felix and all the flora and the fauna and the butterflies, the birdies and the bees. All the furry friends and pets, they're beautiful white dogs, female and male here, and you probably have similar. I know you did at one point, and also and all the people, especially the Shekinas and the youths, females and males, aged 37 and younger, of our local, global, and universal neighborhoods. Okay, I'm not waiting for anybody. Now we go from just giving the gift of parity to holding the trial. Now we're holding the trial. Okay, we're having a hearing. And we're going to judge patriarchy, not people. And we're going to change our system so that we all don't die in a Fukushima, series of Fukushimas. So I love you, and you can call me 24/7, and I'll say huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs, huge hugs.
To save this message, press 1. Your greeting has been saved. To change extension type, press 1. To record extension name, press 2. To manage greeting, press 3. To hear messages recorded in this
Hello, dear. This is Rochelle. You have me, Rochelle One Family, you have me on one of your dockets, but I want you to know very clearly and to communicate to Veronica that I do not regard the current standard of practice in this part of the world to be justice, and I am, if you go to my website, 5050now.wordpress.com, I am a living representative of divine justice with mercy. I am a partially reincarnated version of the highest priestess of Atlantis, or also called the Minoan civilization, and it is my job to bring humanity out of this current dark moment into divine democracy, where women have full parity everywhere on this planet. And I have already delivered that as the only law that exists on this planet on the authority of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God. Now, I have gotten this information out already, and I will be sending you some more among many other people, because this is not just a matter of you and your office. This is a matter that goes much larger to the very problem of patriarchy as opposed to the paradise of parity. It is a planedocidal situation of patriarchy now. And if you thought that the case that involves me was a real case, then you would be inviting a Fukushima event. And what you need to do is tell Veronica that too, so she can rescind it and discard it. It is not proper in any way, shape, or form as far as the justice of this world goes. Do you know that how many justice systems around this planet have 50% women on the judiciary? Do you know how many of the legislatures have 50% women on the judiciary? Do you know that you are administrating a law here that has been bollocksed up by a very controlled media? And you should also know that some of the people involved in this case are caught in that in the grip of that error, and therefore I want to liberate you all. My job is to bring eternal life to everyone, eternal youthful life on a paradisal planet, as opposed to patriarchal planeticide. If you regard that case as a real case and do not rescind it, and you make any effort in any way to interfere with me, you will be provoking a Fukushima event in Illinois. And if you have some questions about that, please give me a call. I am predicting a Fukushima event in Illinois, and I have the qualifications to do this, is that I am a direct cousina of Lynn Margulies, the most famed geobiologist in the world. You are sitting on near the New Madrid fault line, the most serious fault line in North America as far as earthquakes go. You also have a situation there, as throughout North America, with people who are working at nuclear power plants who do not themselves, and who their spouses and other members of their families do not have adequate family leave or vacation time. One of the people that I saw as a client before I left the area of Chicago and was a welding safety engineer at one of the nuclear plants, and he told me very clearly in the confidence of a session that he was pressured to cover up problems with the welding. That was not at the plant closest to you, but it was at one of the major plants in Illinois. you do have a plant close to you that had a minor fire, but sometimes it's a very tip-off that something is going wrong. Around February 13th or 14th of 2013, you are in danger if you proceed with this case from my cousin. You need to tell him from your end. Now, I'm also working at this. We have a very ill family system that needed family therapy years ago. It needed to empower the women's relationships. They were not toxic as they have become in this family, and therefore encouraging rogue behavior on the part of the male. There is a wife of this male. Her name is Diana. She has been engaging in profound relational aggression, which is of the type that this family was involved with at the Glenbrook High School, supposedly trying to represent young women who were hazed at the Glenbrook High School by older class women at Glenbrook. And it was later discovered that the young women were trying to please some rogue males. That is a very interactive process, and it is occurring with my cousin and his attempted wife. Now I love all women, and I have already told this woman and all the women in my family that I have delivered gender parity to this world in order to save it from the end times. And I am representing the Mother, Father, Goddess, God in doing so. What is going to be on trial now is people who hold on to patriarchy when our technological society simply cannot handle that. People who hold on to false hierarchy in the delivery of justice. People who hold on to false hierarchy that diminishes divine democracy and the love of that within the human spirit. You can read more about this at 5050now.wordpress.com. I would like to speak with you personally. More importantly, I would like to speak with Veronica. She is welcome to call me. Again, if she makes any move against me, if any move against me comes from the court systems, I guarantee you, you will be sitting on the edge of a Fukushima event, because I have very deep systems understanding of this. I have the training to know this. Things co-occur. You might say that the universe is like a hologram. And what happens at the level of family also happens at the level of policy, also happens at the level of the human interaction with the environment. God is God, knows all and sees it all. So I am telling you that you have to make very clear, which I am making very clear to everyone that I am in contact with, that the case should have been held in 2013 in the first place, that it showed a major flaw in the system, that this was a case for family therapy, always was a case for family therapy and family reconciliation, and nothing but. There is no anything here other than a will to regain the bonds of family that once were very strong and have become frayed and harmed because of cumulative passage of time under patriarchy. It is that simple. And your system is filled with people who have been deceived by the media itself. The media itself is part of that problem, and it also interacts with family systems, because obviously the people in the media come from families also, and and all the way around. It goes around as an interactive system. The main culprit here is not an individual. There are no individual culprits. There is a systemic culprit. It's called patriarchy. It is an anthropological situation that can be risen above, and we can have a egalitarian bilineal anthropology for our culture, instead of this kind of dangerous thing that is now threatening you with Fukushima. So you can call me. I am at
press 5. For urgent delivery, press 7. To leave a message priority is urgent. To review this message, press 6. To discard your message and re-record it, press 4. To send your message, press 5. Thank you. Your message has been sent. You have reached voicemail.
Okay, that's one level of system here. I'm going to deal with some other levels of system here right now. My family has within it the ability to save the world. So does your family. Everybody who embraces the New Millennial Golden Rule saves the world. Everybody who embraces the New Millennial Golden Rule publicly and stays and does it such a way that they can be known to do it has eternal life. Whether it works out perfectly in this moment or comes to them in the next karmic incarnation, it is a great thing to do. People do not understand the nature of karma in the Western world. But what we need to do is do the best we can within our karma. Now, I myself did not know of my true mission most of my life. I was educated within a patriarchal system without realizing it. And therefore, and my family was educated in the patriarchal system without realizing the word patriarchy was never used in my grammar school, my high school, or even in my college. And I went to one course, there was only one course offered there, called The Psychology of Women. But even then, and we're talking about in the 70s, there was nothing. We have loads of people who are around in this world today who do not know how dangerous patriarchy is, because they've never been educated and because our media is so controlled that the actual danger from this system, which is well documented by archaeologists and anthropologists, is not discussed. Therefore, we have to put patriarchy on trial, not people, but a system that is causing people to do really rogue and reckless things that could cause a Fukushima event in Illinois and trigger echoes around the North American continent, potentially setting off Diablo Canyon, potentially setting off Indian Point, and potentially setting off even Calvert Cliffs, and potentially setting off events in China and in India and all over the world, because the mantle of the earth is interconnected. I am a Kazina of Lynn Margulies. I'm speaking with authority about this. And it has to do with the balance of yin and yang. So now I'm going to do my regular ceremony with the names, with the pictures of people, but I think it's important for us to say, I will say some of the major names. But until these people start coming themselves, they're in danger. My saying their names time and time and time again doesn't protect them. Does not protect them. I cannot act as an intercessory with no movement toward change. Then it's just going to be impossible for people to get out of the mess they're in. So I have to make that clear, and I will make a recording of that recording as I do it. So let me just, I'm going to hold up something for you. Okay, you see this? This is a document from a court that has a token level of women and is mostly men in the justice role. They have huge coteries of women minions in this court. Secretaries and this and that, all kinds of women doing things that they're not paid as much for. And they take it because they think they have to in order to get some bread on the table for their children. But the inequity is obvious. And this profession is one of those that has the reputation of having the highest numbers of bullies in it. That's also true in some aspects of the medical profession. There's quite a bit of reports from the nurses. There's a lot of reports from female lawyers and from female paralegals and other people in that profession that bullying is profound, especially among the very overly paid male attorneys. So we have to understand what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate here. That's what we're dealing with. And that's why I have to act as Earth Angel and save you all, or you're going to be done in. And even the devils themselves, the devil's advocates, will be under the radiation of Fukushima. So let me say, what's next? We already did, I think, did I do my entire musical medley? I think I'll do that. I think that the mother of all time needs a little recognition here. We want to spend some good time with the goddess. I think it's pretty important. And then we'll get to the people. And if I have to rush the names of the people today, it's because they have been coming themselves, and you already have them on the recent videos from yesterday and all week. So you have them. You know who's included in this grouping. I'm going to say one more thing, too, while I'm broadcasting. In my family system, we all made errors, and I made errors, and my error was what I'd call premature egalitarianism. I thought everybody wanted fairness on gender. It was part of us all. I assumed that among people. I now know that people were so deeply socialized into the expectation of male domination, not only men but women, that they don't even try for that. And many men take it as a given that they will be ascendant. Now, some of the men that I most want to hold accountable in this situation start with Dr. Strauss. We're holding Dr. Strauss accountable for all of the women in the 1940s that he told to put their babies on scheduled breastfeeding. That was very big in the 1940s. In fact, I think I'm going to put this on the conference line. Okay, I am broadcasting and I am putting patriarchy on trial, and I am naming some first names here, not so much surnames right now. I don't want to make this into seeming like a flaming occasion. This is not. What we're putting on trial here is patriarchy, not human beings. Human beings become caught in patriarchy and then they carry it like a disease. Patriarchy is a transmitted, learned habit that is very difficult to break unless people are aware that it is patriarchy that they're doing, and also fully aware of the dangers of it. Now, we have told everybody, and lots of people now, loads of people all over here in Maryland and all over the place in the world, and from all over the world, that there is the danger of a Fukushima event in Illinois that would be triggered by the wrong application of yang justice, so-called justice, which isn't justice at all. It is out of control yangness in a culture. It is patriarchy unleashed without recognizing how dangerous it is. So we have already told the people involved in the mechanistics of this so-called case that it should be rescinded, and that it presents an enormous systemic danger, as per Lynn Margulies' understanding that everything on Earth is interconnected, to the New Madrid fault, and to the human interactions on safeguard of safety, and moving toward a more paradisal picture there in that location, which is very dangerous currently because it's moribund in the wrong mode. And it is very dangerous. And when things remain in the wrong mode for a long time, they become toxic. And there was a significant fire at the Zion nuclear power plant. They downplayed it, but it was on February 13th or 14th, 2013, the year of the first adventurism on this. And also the first adventurism was done on a high holy day of many faiths, and totally inappropriate to the purpose of that day, which is to reconcile family. And now we are approaching that date, and we are at that date in March, which is the date of marvelous miracles that can happen. So we have to say that we have to, and we have already been saying and broadcasting and educating many people to understanding that what is occurring in the patriarchal arena of media, medicine, and law is not consonant with the delivered law of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, which is the new millennial golden rule. And that those who try to hold on to the denial that there is something wrong with what is occurring here in North America, and that may be most North Americans. Most Americans have been well socialized to accept a lie. Mother, Father, Goddess, God knows that it's a lie. Mother, Father, Goddess, God knows that it's destructive. So the thing is that we all have to think like Mother, Father, Goddess, God. Do they want their children to die? I don't think so. Do they want to see a big Fukushima event or even a small one in Illinois? No, they wanted to see it prevented. So, so now we are looking at the screen of that marvelous, miraculous home there, and I'm going to play the tape that you're used to hearing.
Very careful. And there was a sister, Clara.
Let me start it from the beginning.
And then she said she couldn't use the name for everybody. She just wants to respect it. That's when she came back and started to spell events with the Global Center. Her whole love was to keep her children there. She didn't try so heavy just to get along, get enough to eat. She was careful, very careful. And there was a sister, Clara.
Now, this home was the proprietresses were Ray and Harriet. Ray had a sister named Clara. There was a younger sister here named Jacqueline, who was partially raised by Lillian Gay. And we have many other family branches coming into that Margolian branch here. And I've given you all the names. We're including, you've already heard me say them many, many times. We are including with all of our family, the Margolian branches and all of the women on all of those branches and all their great and grandchildren, female and male. And all of the Silver Kindian becoming Silver Golden Kindian, same thing. And all of the Zal Kindian becomes counting all people equally, female and male, all the same thing, and the Feldmarian families. And also specifically wanting to mention here, connected to the Margolian is the Sweet golden and also connected into the Sagan family, and also the family of Goldenberg, and we don't know all the maternal names here. These are just current names that people use in our very patronymic culture, but we are talking about the mothers' maiden names, and we're including Shirley and Malka and all of these women, and all of the people that you've heard me say on many of these recordings already, so I'm not going to repeat it because I have a lot to do. What we're starting with today is an indictment of patriarchy among men, because patriarchy among men is so habitual, because it was around for thousands of years, that many families just take it as a normal course of matter that the wife should submit to the husband, and that is the right hierarchy, and that is what works. That is what works for Fukushima. In our times, with our technology, how that affects the sharing of female genius, intuition, and goddess caring for the world and for the earth, how that causes the female to degrade her relationships with other females in order to be deferent to that father figure, patriarch, pater familias. Dangerous. It is simply dangerous in our times. It seemed to sort of work in the old days. People didn't quite have the anthropologist departments around to find out that war is directly related to patriarchal decision making, and war is prevented when you get rid of patriarchal imbalances. That's why the people of Rwanda now have 56 to 63% women in their parliament, because they learned the hard way. The hard way in the United States region would be a Fukushima event. So we are now, one of the big patriarchs in our family that we do want to, now I've said the names of the women and the various branches. I'm showing the picture here, and I've played the tape for you of the beautiful voices about mothers and daughters and sisters and children, female and male, really should be included as important. Youths and children is equally important here, and our whole purpose is, of course, to do the Eleusinian mysteries on the bright side of things. But right now we're sitting before a dark cloud of Fukushima. So we need to focus a little bit on who darkened our world this way. Who were the out-of-control rogue males? Well, one of the out-of-control rogue males was a guy named Dr. Strauss. He was typical for his time. It was also the time when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He was very typical for that time. He didn't think that much highly of women. He thought women should take his orders. He thought children should take his orders, and probably his wife and his children did. And he generated that of his family into the world, and he told mothers, put your child on scheduled feeding. He told lots of mothers that, and he told someone who's very precious to me, his mother, that, a mother and a daughter, a baby girl, and precious to all of us, and included in this picture here. And I think you know who I'm talking about, everybody, because it's on the website that we did called Spoon River on Theology, and we're going to be making some use of that website because everybody has to wake up now. Whatever injury you had under patriarchy, it's not enough to cause a Fukushima, is it? You have to be able to catch yourself from acting in a patriarchal manner. And for women, acting in a patriarchal manner means not talking with other women about anything important. That's how it reflects itself. Now, we have some other women on our family tree who are doing that, and they're doing that in order to fit in with the patriarchal man who they're encouraging to do the wrong thing. And we have a couple of men that have personally harmed me in the past, and now this one is doing again the same nonsense. And so I'm going to say the names of Leslie, harmed my sister and I. I'm going to say the name Andy, harmed my sister and I, and his own family. And I'm also going to say the name of Rollin, harming everybody in Illinois right now. So I love him. He's not doing this because he wants to harm people. He's just never been educated about patriarchy, and he thinks he's in perfect control of everything because that's what patriarchal men think. That's what they thought just before Exxon Valdez. The guy thought he was in control. That's what the guy who was at the helm of the Titanic thought too. He thought he had it all put together. He was going to avoid those icebergs. He knew what to do. Boom. He hit it. And so many people were lost. Now, patriarchal men develop that kind of hubris because the women around them are not functioning as full adults. And they're deferring too much. And they're passing the buck, and they're letting the man act out. If they have anger at another woman or something, they let the man take the football and run with that against her. The problem is, in this occasion, doing that will result in a Fukushima. So I have the duty to warn that you need, those of you who are listening to this, you need to warn the wives and the mothers and the cousinas of this rogue male that he is creating the danger of a Fukushima. If you hesitate to tell him that, then you will likely have a Fukushima, because he is not willing to hear it from me, because you do not talk with him honestly, and you are playing games of relational aggression there. Now, we have a legal system that doesn't deal with relational aggression in families. In fact, it doesn't deal with families well at all. And that's a pandemic open sore for the entire legal story here in North America. Obviously, we're the only place in the world that doesn't have paid family leave and good vacation time for people, or some kind of balance of love and work that's adequate. We're the absolute pits. And yet people are running around with legal degrees. They know nothing about the law of nature. So what is the result? The result would be a Fukushima. So I strongly urge Georgine and Julianne Marie, who are the closest likely people, and if you can get in touch with maybe Nisa, but if not, that doesn't work, try someone on the street and say, look, there's this guy and he's doing something and he won't listen to us, or if you can't tell him directly. But you really are in a situation now where Rollin is going to bring about a Fukushima event. Now, that person has stolen the thunder of a lot of younger people in this family. There's a lot of younger people in this family who have had the rug pulled out from underneath them by rogue men. Not only young women, but young men. I believe that Vanessa and Hannah Levis have been actively harmed by their association with the cabal that developed with Diana and Rollin toward me and pulled Julianne into it somewhat. And Georgine knows all about this. Now, I want this to be known. I want this to be on the tape. And am I broadcasting? Yeah, this is going out. People are hearing this. I don't want to hide anymore. This is too dirty and it's too dangerous. Do you want a Fukushima? Let's put some light on this. We're going to get some light on this. We're going to have, since nobody agrees to family therapy in my family, we're going to have a little tough love family therapy here. Because exclusion means that you don't get the light of the wisdom of another person. it isn't only harmful to them. I mean, there's a huge literature about how excluding people, most people, is very damaging to them, creates enormous stress within their, even their, the hormones of their body. What has been done toward me is cruelty. There's no question about that, and there's a huge literature on that now. But our legal system doesn't deal with that because it is a patriarchal legal system. So it doesn't emphasize anything of importance to the family. It's more concerned with money and contracts and stuff like that. And so the family is falling through the floor here in North America because these are the games that families play with patriarchy. Relational aggression, degrading, abuse. I've been abused. I've been harmed. And I'd say it's about 75% of the women under a patriarchal culture like this one right now have been at some level harmed by some form of bullying, by both men and women who play along with men who do that. So, you know, the electric complex has become now, they come home to the plant where it's likely to cause a big problem, an electric plant called Fukushima in Illinois. So I want to be very honest with you that you need to, on your end, gather so that you are not in the middle. And I mean this. Lynn Margulies knew that everything was interconnected, and I have this perfectly understood that you will have a Fukushima, and it will be triggered by your unwillingness to say to Vanessa and Harlan Louis Leviz, who are harmed by these people, they've been harming us. You have Stockholm Syndrome. You deserve healing, not Fukushima. All of you. You all have Stockholm Syndrome. The media has induced it. Did you ever see the movie, The Manchurian Candidate? You've been mind programmed to not ask for parity. You've been told to ask for coffee of this brand and this kind of, refrigerator and that kind of makeup. That they're all busy telling you. And they're also telling you pick from frick or frack for the controlled selection that they pretend are elections. But they have not talked with you about the billions of women who live under parity and balance of love and work. There's billions of them now, but not you. You didn't deserve that because you didn't ask for it. Something went wrong here in the United States. I think it's because of the size of the landmass, the geographical diaspora from hometown, the emphasis that has always been on this culture of individualism. I mean, Alexander de Tocqueville wrote a big essay about that, how individualism would destroy America one day. Okay, so we know that this is sitting like a lurking problem here, and there's nothing more individualistic than our legal system. It is not a relational system. It is a legal, it is an individualistically oriented system. Therefore, it cannot deal with about half of reality. It's like you've got the yang part, you've got one eye. It's a cyclops. It can see the individual rights, but it can't see the relationships at all. It doesn't want to look at them under hierarchical adversarial justice. So-called justice isn't justice at all. It's a product of patriarchy. So, and it would be improved by parity. And what do you find in countries that have parity in their justice systems? France has 50% women in the justice system. And guess what? Their biggest modality for family problems and even individual problems is family therapy. And same with Sweden. They have very active therapeutic community there too. And they have 50% in their judiciary and in their legislature, approximately. So it does make a difference, and it makes a difference to each one of the people we know. So the first person and we have to understand this is also coming through medicine, because the medicine, we're given degrees, they're given titles, people believe that they know what they're doing. Well, under patriarchy, they actually don't know what they're doing because they don't have enough direct collegial input from women who have very often, and there's also a significant number of men. I'm talking about the people who are like theories and triptomanus now. There's men also in the area of natural organic healing and relational healing that have been advocating this for years, but they're not in these moneyed systems that are feeding on the need for hierarchy, and they suck in people who are willing to accept it. Okay, and then you're stuck in it. So why deal with it? Why let them do this to you anymore? Do you want a Fukushima? You don't want a Fukushima. Just understand you're gathered here with all the women we always gather you with, and with all of their youths and all, and so that does include, of course, Julianne Marie and I together with, and we'd like to bring a little Jackie in with as Harriet. Like to free her, but it's a very difficult situation for her because she's got 2 legal eagles in her family. It's very difficult, and they're older. They're old enough to do a lot of damage. So, and the women in that family are weak. They're younger, and they're not able to let go of their own father needs or to hold on to a marriage and deal with it in a therapeutic way. So, or confront the matter of the marriage if there is a patriarchal element, which certainly there definitely was in both of these marriages. And so this is why it has to be done, or you're going to have a Fukushima. It is that simple. And our younger people don't deserve this. Does Marion deserve Indian Point disaster because there was a Fukushima in Chicago? Do Hadassah and Marion deserve that? And I hope you're listening, Hadassah and Marion. You think you want that because the people in Chicago can't be bothered to call their own closest family? I'm very close to them. I'm talking about first cousin family and first cousina and first by marriage, and also obviously sister. Now, I'm sorry, we have to confront reality now. There's no escaping this, and I'm going to leave this as a message. I'm going to do this ceremony right now. I don't think we need my big fanfare. I'll do a little of it. I've done enough of that. I showed the pictures. I do some of the music. The goddess doesn't need the people to, I try to do it as many times as I can during the day, and I'll do some this evening. But the main point here is that this is now on trial, and the people that are doing these trials and deeds and generating paperwork that confuse other people that don't understand what's going on here have all been exposed to all of the levels of people who are going to encounter this. Okay, it's all been exposed. It's already been discussed, and I am not afraid, because Goddess God will defend me. It is you who have to worry about Fukushima, not me. I'm further away from ground zero of stupid. Now, I don't say I'm perfect. I did a lot of things under patriarchy. I didn't know what my mission was in my life. I was prematurely married. I didn't spend enough time with my mother and sister to help them repair the damage that Dr. Strauss did. I didn't spend enough time with other female relations until way down the line, and when they already were caught themselves in patriarchy, most of them married without having had any time to spend with one another prior to marriage. Even though they were likely Kazina, they were Kazinas before marriage, and yet they didn't, because this is what patriarchy doesn't tell both women and men, that women have a particular need to gather, that we need to learn from the bonobos and what Robert Salovey has found about dominant males on the baboons. We need to learn something about our own anthropology, or we're going to wind up killing ourselves off. So let me just do the ceremony. I've played the tape already, and I'll do the ceremony. I want you to hear it. It includes you. Everyone who's listening to this and who has this number, it includes you. It includes you, all you Shekinah, and includes all you young people aged 37 and younger. First as Co-Secretary General's Co-Savior Oz. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and water. Hugs and love to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers in water. Hugs and love to all, both, and each and every one as soon as possible. Oh, and by the way, lest you think I have any fear, some of this little nonsense going on with me involves someone who works at Fox News. I've already been in touch with Fox News. Not through that person, but now I'll coordinate it. I'm not afraid. This is for Mother, Father, Goddess, God. Mother, Father, Goddess, God deserves a little bit of respect, do you think, on their planet they created? Somebody has to stand up for Mother, Father, Goddess, God. I'm doing it. I don't care what the results are. My first priority is also to my creatrix creator. I didn't make myself, and neither did you. Your mothers and your fathers made you, and they couldn't have done it without long lines of women doing nurturing that weren't credited and weren't paid for and weren't given representation most of that time. That's why we have to make up that error, and the men who are waiting also on the other side of the stargates want us to make up that error. Okay, and so the light is on in all our hearts. We have, and so we'll say, what did I say? The light is on all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers, hugs and love to all, both, and each and every one as soon as possible. And we'll say namaste, and mitakuye oyasin, and I am in touch with Anne-Marie and Ma Patricia, and mitakuye koze Reall, and Kong Sampax becomes Ko Ampax culture, Ko Savior All, and of the Eleusinian mysteries revealed. We are calling upon you to understand that you have missed the gatherings of women. It was partly my fault. There was a hole in our lace as a family. We need to do it. It's the only way to save a planet. Do you want to die on a dying planet for nothing because you couldn't make a phone call and get it for 5 minutes with 3 women? You gotta be kidding! Wake up! And okay, and we'll say Bahava l'chaim, Shalom, Salam, Salam, Shalom. We'll say Mir Pache. We'll say Ubuntu. We'll say Buenos Dias, Das Vidania, Jews, and we included all, we include even the branches of the women, the people who can't stand me. I've already included all their mothers, their great-grandmothers, and all of the women that went back, and the ones that were probably, some of them worked with the Nazis. You know what? Even those women deserve parity. If they had it, they wouldn't have been Nazis. So, and they wouldn't have. A lot of the German people got killed in World War II too. Don't think only Jews and the victims of genocide get killed. Lots of Germans got killed in World War II. Remember that? And World War I, same thing, same reason. So, and so let's see, Jews and Schlanzavag and Ubuntu and Chop Chop and Sayonara and Buenos Dias and Ubuntu. I think I said that. So and Chop Chop. Okay, and more, a lot more. And we'll say love and live, ever young, longest, and prosper everyone and all. Okay, and we want to be like the Vulcans. We want to be a little logical about this. Yeah, your emotions may impel you to do relational aggression to avoid other women. Those are your emotions. But you have a little Vulcan in you, and it's got to tell you, you're going to have a Fukushima if you keep that up. You're going to have it, and it's probably going to be this week. I'm not kidding, because this is right a month after the anniversary of Fukushima, and you are a Marian family, so it's in March. Look out. You're causing yourself disaster. Don't do this. Don't go to patriarchal doctors. Don't do it. And I'm calling the one who is most important to call. In fact, I'll call her while I'm on broadcasting, so everybody knows I've done that. She's a part of this process too and needs to be included. I'll look up her phone number and call her. And sometimes my computer doesn't work very well when I'm trying to do too many things at once. So if I have any problem, know that I am calling her. And sometimes I can't do it while broadcasting, make the outreaching phone calls. To look up a number on a file. That's the issue. Oh, I know her number. What am I saying? I know her number. Okay, I'll do it from the broadcast. Okay, I'll do it from the broadcast just a minute. And so now let's do the milk. We'll drink the milk of human kindness for all, both, and each, and every one. And especially the importance of 2 to 3 years on cue, empathic, bonding, building, breastfeeding between mother and child, fully supported by family, extended family, community, world, including fathers. And fathers have every right to be there for some of it, to hold their wives, to hold their babies. But the fathers want that in this generation. It's only our old CEOs with their making people work so hard without vacations and no family leave in this part of the world that are preventing young men from doing what they want to do, which is to be with their children and their wives. So we'll drink the milk of human kindness for all, both, and each and every one, representing all, both, and each and every one as soon as possible. And we'll holding up the water cup. We'll drink to regain and sustain our planet as an enlightened, loving, living planet with all of our planets of the cosmos. For all, both, and each and every one. I drink for all, both, and each and every one, representing all, both, and each and every one as soon as possible. We'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days together, past, present, and future, starting with our spring and autumnal months, and then all years rounds. Why do we do this spring and autumnal? Because they're closest to around the equinox, and we want to emphasize EQ, equality, and emotional quotients, and empathy. We want to rebuild that where we've lost that because our society has lost its bonding. And we'll do that again. We'll celebrate, and of course I say it as let me just say, as Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Secretaries, Equinox True Qs. And I'll say that again, holding it this way. We'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days together, past, present, and future, as Equinox True Qs, Co-Secretaries, Co-Secretary Generals. Now, you know, I've decided, you know, it's hard for me to go through the litany of names every time. I've given you all of the surname branches, and there's more. There's more, and I have loads of neighbors, and I've mentioned them, and you have neighbors, and I've tried to centralize on the few that I think are most central to making the change right now. Because if Julianne Marie and Marion and Barbara and Nisa and Georgine don't get their act together, this is not going to have a good outcome, and you're going to have a Fukushima there. I have to be honest with you. You ladies are particularly important to one another and to me and to your world. And it isn't to me personally. I'm not saying that I have a big personal need. This is not a matter of ego for me. I'm trying to save a planet. Okay? And all the people I've ever known and loved. And that's everyone. And so I'm holding up the consciousness currencies. And the kitty cats are coming in and out. They're here too. And now we'll do the big circle of our family, of our Shekinahs, past Shekinahs and older ones, and more middle-aged and current mothers and aunts and that age group, and also our younger Shekinahs and Hekinahs. Okay. And this is very special family to me. I am glad I feel bonds even for people who are having trouble remembering their own bonds because they're so testosteronized that they don't even know what they feel. And they're drugged and they're working too hard and they don't know what they feel anymore. So let's say I feel for them, but that's not enough, and they're endangering themselves by not feeling for me and for the entire family circle. And they've cut themselves into a little gang-like cabal. You know, family is mafioso. And that happens to family. You get a certain in-group and the other people are outies and they have to be ignored, or if they don't pay tribute, right? Isn't that the way it's been done? But you know what? That never works. So it just doesn't work. It always falls apart and it makes a mess for everyone. So we'll do all these kisses. Okay. And I'm going to do an extra one this way for her too. Okay. And we'll do this one more time, so just so them put together. Okay, and now the big circle again. Now, I'm telling you, you're going to have a Fukushima if the current proceeding toward me is allowed to occur. There will be a Fukushima there. So I would urge you, if any of you know what I'm talking about, and there is a new page on it on the website now, and there's going to be more on that, and it's a brand new page, so it needs a little bit of work, and there's more that I want to add. It needs quite a bit more, but it's up there. I've been threatened with illegitimacy. And not only for my own sake, but for everyone's sake. I don't accept that. I love everybody, but that doesn't mean I get to be walked on because somebody has a system that wants to walk on me. I'm not interested in that for anybody, not just myself. I have to act for other people too. What's done to me can be done to millions of others. We don't allow that. Okay, and we'll start fresh. We'll start fresh with parity, paradisal on this and all our planets, and we will say no to Fukushima, plutonic, planetocidal, patriarchy. Even if it feels good and we're used to it and the guys give us a niche and all that stuff, you know, their niche is right up against the wall of Fukushima. You remember Fukushima? Who brought the people in Fukushima? There was a boardroom and they were full of men. There was a bunch of men who made the plant. They built the plant. They could have built solar power. The solar power was already being built all over China. I don't know why they didn't. They thought they could make some money, right? We could have gone solar in the 1980s. It wouldn't have been that much more expensive, and I guarantee you the cost of Fukushima wiped it out. So, you know, it just shows you that people aren't thinking a long-range way, and they're not thinking with respect for the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, and the earth that they created to create those kind of dangers. But when women are not there, that's how aggressive men who are out of control and rogue-like move. They don't have the inner checks and balances. They need women to help them. And if women don't help them, they do really stupid things like is going on right now. So, we'll say we'll start fresh. We'll start fresh with parity, paradisal parity on this and all our planets. Now, all of these family trees are intertwined. If you come from Margulian, if you come from Silverkindian, and I like to call them Silverkindian becoming silver golden, silver and golden. And if you come from Zalkindian, if you come from Feldmarian, if you come from Sweet, if you come from Sagan, if you come from and we've got a whole bunch of names here to add in. Loads of them are friends, Hearst and Herzog and Perlman and Millers and Cabs, and we've got all kinds of women that we've already included, right? We've already done this. Let's start with the Cabs, really, and the Plutas and all that, all of the people that we've included, not Plutos, Plutas, Plutyas, okay, and we'll also include. We have our friends here helping a little bit with our kitty cats, and we want to include them. So we'll include not only the daughter of May, but also there's a son here who does quite a bit with animals. And that's true of all the men who are more green in their notions. Margaret, who's the mother of Paul. And so we are including a lot more people, all of our neighbors, all of our, especially we start with the Shekinahs, and we start with then also the people who care about the nature around us and feed the animals and take care of one another and this kind of thing. Are very important in your region. There are the people who are not hierarchical, the people who are caring and nurturing, and it's a different mode, and that mode is given best chance to safeguard our planet when women are fully empowered and when youth are fully empowered, females and males aged 37 and younger. So so we'll do all that, and we've said all that, and I'll also include the kitty cats, Doña Aurora Fleas and Mary Rainbow Sweetheart, and Doña Aurora Fleas with Whiskers and Holly and Tiger and Tiger and Holly and Buttermilk and Black and Buttermilk and Felix, and also the Flora and the Fauna, the big male dogs that are very big and white but very, very gentle, a female and a male. Also the butterflies, the birdies, and the bees, and all the people, starting with all of our Shekinahs. In this, not only in this land, but going back to the lands of Europe and all of course, Anna Marie and Ma Patricia. I really should start with them, and I sometimes forget because they're usually in the tape that I play at the beginning. But I did not say them, and I really need to say them right away. All their Shekinahs, Myrtle and Rose and Pearl and Myrtle, Rose, Pearl, and Marie, and also including Anna Maria and her sister Julianne, and lots of you. I'm not going to go into detail again because you've heard all the names, and I've contacted you all of you, so you know you're included. You're included. However, right now you're not coming here by disincluding yourself. You're sitting on your hands. All of that is contributing to the likelihood of a Fukushima this week. I'm not kidding. So I'm just predicting it, and I figure you'll probably have some level of Fukushima because you're not going to take my word for it. Right? Isn't that right? And some of you will have to get a little crippled, I guess, if you don't take my word for it. And let me call Martha Howard in just a moment. I'm going to call her a little bit and just let her know that there is a real risk to some very precious young people of our family. And I believe that there are some for some of these other young people too. I think that all of the younger generation in our family, all of them are at risk. And the ones who are acting as patriarchal drones to please their fathers and their mothers who want them to, they're in danger of a big, also a nuclear disaster at Diablo Canyon in California. Because I worked with, the person that I worked with in Illinois to protect against nuclear disasters came from that part of California. And her plant that she worked on before she came to Illinois to work with me was Diablo Canyon. And we also, she and I, met up against patriarchal processes, and that sort of short-circuited what we were doing together. So it's very likely that since that occurred when she and I were both not really aware of patriarchy, that it is Diablo Canyon that is also very likely to have a terrible disaster. If the little one in California can't get her act together and pull her name off of a nonsensical thing that she ought to know better than doing, but apparently she doesn't, because she's surrounded by patriarchal people and she doesn't know. So I love you, and I give you huge hugs, and I think we've done the ceremony. Did I say this part? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all our heritages of our earth and our earth, past, present, and future. As Equinox True Qs, co-Severas, co-Secretary Generals, and supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritages of our earth and our earths, past, present, and future together. And I'm going to send this message. You don't need to hear the music again. You can hear that on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. That message is still very viable too, and you should listen to it too. And I've left you some individual messages. Use who I try to gather as most important. But, you know, I know that I'm acting like a Cinderella at this point, and you're acting like, you know, evil stepsisters that don't see the need to even understand that their entire castle area of all the stuff that they're busy fixing themselves up for is endangered now. Real bad endangered by your not coming. Real bad. I can't take this cup away from you. You've made this cup. But you can do something about it. You just come on a conference line or call me at any time, and we can do this together. So I'll send this message, and you remember the conference line number is 641-715-3580, access code 773342. And if I think I'm on there right now on the other line, and I'll double check it if there's anybody there, and I'll get on there and make sure that if you're calling in, I'll get it. I love you. God loves you, but you don't love yourselves. You don't love your female gender. You don't love the female gender, and you don't like love your younger people. You're too busy saluting up to Papa, hungry for Papa, 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 Papa. You know, the great Papa of the universe is wondering, why do these women like apes so much? Why don't they ask for divine people? Why don't they want their men to be more divine? Why don't they want them to be like the men of Atlantis? Why do they want them to be like jerks? Trump, 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 thump, thump, thump. Why? Don't do that, ladies. You're not helping anybody by saluting to such men. Every blessing. Okay. Now I'm going to call Martha Howard. I'm calling Martha. I don't think I'm going to broadcast this, but you know I'm calling Martha Howard. I'll make it a little bit so you can hear. This is a great doctor, not the wrong one. You need to get to her. Call her. And call me if for any reason that doesn't work out. There's other doctors too, but I'm sure she will work out for you.
Associates of Chicago. If this is a medical emergency.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, simply hang up or press pound for further options.
Hello, this is a message for Dr. Martha Howard. I'm sure she has more names, and I know that she spent her birthday on the Isle of Crete, and that is so apropos to what I think she could be very helpful with all of our family. So I'm referring all of our family to her. I'm including Julia Marie and some of our friends and neighbors, Georgine and Vanessa and Harlan Lewis-Leviz. Harlan Lewis-Leviz has been having Crohn's disease symptoms that are psychogenically generated in part by the enormity of the patriarchy of his family system and his community and his world system right now, affecting him. He's both of these young people, Vanessa and Harlan Lewis and Julia Marie, have great resilience, but they're under a lot of pressure, and so is Georgine. So we just want to say to you that we think that these women can also help you, and these young people can literally help you avoid a Fukushima event in Illinois. And I will keep in touch with you about this. The current medical team that they're involved with is inferior and poorly trained, doesn't know anything about holistic health. It is the name of Dr. Ratsky, and I have already called them on this, and I have expressed them that what they are doing is harm to many people, and that we cannot. I am working, as you can see on our website, 5050now.wordpress.com, that I cannot allow harm to be done to my own family and to many people who are also only more slightly distant of my own family. And they all need to learn from you, and I want them to call you, so I keep giving them your number, and I hope they will. Every blessing. And I'm at 301. Let me just...
To your message, press 1. To mark your message urgent, press 2. To mark your message private, marked urgent. Your message has been message to another subscriber.
Now, according to the phone machine,
trying to reach.
According to the phone machine, they're not at their office right now or today. So I don't know how quickly they pick up. It is a office that's rare. They're holistic. They're not as oriented toward having to react to emergencies because they're more preventive. However, if you have any kind of emergency, any of you, do not hesitate to call me, and I will call her if you need a bridge to assist you in getting in touch with her. Because I believe that that is a key element of what's going wrong in our family. It's a repetition pattern of picking a patriarchal doctor that harms a child. It needs therapy, and we have the way to help those therapy. And by the way, this is a very common problem in North America because we have a lot of women who have been socialized to, quote, trust me, I'm a doctor, trust me, I'm a lawyer, trust me. And a lot of the women and their children become victimized by men who really don't know as much as they should. And everybody needs to get on the internet and read about holistic and relational care so they understand better. Go to the Collaborative Family Therapy website, Collaborative Family Healthcare Association, and read what they have to say about this. And you'll know that if you're going to a medical doctor that doesn't include any counseling and doesn't include good family assessment of what's going on in your family and all the relationships, that it's a lousy doctor, and you shouldn't be seeing that doctor. So, okay. We've said this broadcast, and I think we'll just play our musical medley. And I'm going to do some more calls today to Fox. And because you know what? I have nothing to lose. God is behind me. God wants us to come out of this, as dangerous as it is. And I'm going to take some other risks with some other people that are going to get pissed off at me too. I'm going to take all the risks because I believe that I've been saying the core issue very, very clearly to you for a long time. And God likes the fact that I've been doing that. And God will stand behind that as long as I keep doing it and encourage you to come co-broadcast and become co-secretary generals, co-Severaz, equinox true cues with me and with each other. Then we start back at the beginning. We'll get to that part. Don't mind that sound. That's just my software doing something weird.
Celestial right. No. Words. Words. I should have said the poem. So beautiful. So beautiful. The people need to see what I've seen. They need to see.
These are the spiritual as much as physical voyages of the Co-Federation, Solar, Sun, our starship, planet Earth,
restored to heaven on our every
Our family's
as our spiritual, genealogical, local, global, universal,
co-secretary generals, co-secretaries who are musicians and healers,
enterprise.
Equinox
Our
to
new
use.
millennial year's mission to rediscover and re-understand, sustain, and explore are and all are in fact familiar new worlds of family community, of the tree of love, life, and light throughout the solar system and universe, to restore, renew, and sustain our and new life and new sustainable civilizations have present retroactively and now, reality and future, always balancing, to lovingly, genealogically evolve, become, and be space-time travelers whenever and where we have interdimensional reality, all in part been before, it also never been before, in alternative space-time lines that are circles, which are of the universal EQ, IQ, and SQ continuum, balanced combinations of the ever-expanding circle which spirals and grows, budding and blooming in space-time. Love and live enlightened, ever young, loyal, and prosper all both in each and every one. Engage your heart, mind, soul, and body. For we all, both and each, both and all, can, must, and marvelously and miraculously make it so. In the thunderous blast, she emerges, her eyes on fire, the mighty priestess. She's risen from the nativity of Caldera. She is risen from the fires of the earth. She's risen, she's risen. We are risen. She's risen. She's risen. We are risen.
We all are risen by my intercession and your cooperation as Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Secretaries, Equinox to use.
Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Mahalakshmi Mrudapriya Maharupa Mahapurya Mahabhadaknashini Mahamaya Mahasattva Mahashakti Maharati Mahabhuta Maheshwarya Mahavidya Mahabala Mahabuddhi Mahasiddhi Mahayogeshwareshwari Mahatantra Mahamantra Mahayantra Mahasana Mahayaga-Kramaradhya Om Mahabhairava-Pujita Maheshwara Mahakalpaka Mahatandava Sanskiri Mahakamesha-Mahishi Mahatripura-Sundari Chaturshashti Upacharadhya Chaturshashti Karamayi Mahachaturshashti Koti Yogini Ganasevita The people need
Our
to
family is
see.
filled
We
with
need to see.
poetesses and poets, artists, healers, musicians, co-secretary generals, co-secretaries, equinox true Qs. They just need to get themselves free of the alpha males causing their Fukushima and common co-hostess and co-host.
This day I call the heavens and the earths as witnesses intercessorily for and hopefully and prayerfully not against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose love and life with light, so that you and your children may live. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not your, our new millennial law.
Okay. I thought it was tradition. Maybe better to make sunflowers for purity and blackness. This is Anna Marie, singing Christmas, and I am Cherokee, Cheyenne, Blackfoot, and Alltimate, Dakota, and I am also a French, English, and German. These three I have seen That means we are all related. We embrace the new millennial gospel as the law of Alltimate of the sacred ground that is Mother Earth, and all the planets of all the universes.